Thank you for that, and thank you, Project Fire, for inviting me. And normally you have to choose your own topics, but not in this case, so thank you. So before I start the presentation, I will talk about a little bit where I work today. For the moment, I work with Nordic Sprinkler. It's a small company with 20 employees, and we call ourselves a technical distributor because we sell products, but we also do consultation, we do testing, we do commissioning. So that's not so normal, but we do that. And from mid-June, we go into a bigger group called Ahlsell. It's actually the biggest distributor or wholesaler in the Nordic countries with approximately 3 billion euros turnover. So it's really big. And there we will continue our work, but we will continue as our own segment, and we will call the Ahlsell Sprinkler. And we will continue. Today we're selling. We have our own brand, Nordic Flow, which includes our own pipes, FM approved pipes, powder coated. We're selling reliable heads. We're selling Victaulic couplings and fittings. We're selling all the products from Project Fire. So we will continue with that, and also continue with the products that Ahlsell have. So, before I start again, how many of you have heard about SCADA and knows about SCADA? Oh, shit. Okay, new presentation. No, that's kidding. So, before I got this assignment, I need to go to talk a little bit about companies who do SCADA. Because SCADA is a kind of system, and you see it's quite a long text here. The future of integrated system and the role for managing and testing sprinkler system. That's really serious. Okay, so why SCADA? 2 years ago, we had a request from one of the biggest consultants group in Sweden called OF, and for this project here, and they want to do the testing for the flow switches, and we went together with Project Fire and showed them the zone check addressable. And I said, oh, this is okay, and so we continued the journey, and by the end of, for 2 years ago, there was a question raised to us if we could do the zone check with SCADA connections. So we went back to Project Fire, and I think within 2 days we got a positive result, and we can do that. We did some changes in the software in the controller, so we can do that. So after that, we were specifying this, as you see, really big project, and I think it's going to be the biggest zone check system all over Europe, or
it's certainly the biggest at the moment. It will be the biggest in mainland Europe.
Yeah.
At the moment. Yeah, there are bigger ones in the UK, but the biggest in mainland Europe.
Yeah. So this is an ongoing project, and it was, as you see, it's this green part is the new part, and that's the old one. So it's ongoing project. So SCADA, supervisory control and data acquisition, is the explanation for that. It's normally used if you have a power plant, if you have a big house, high-rise building that you can control. If you have a house, you can control heating, you can control ventilation, you can control whatever you want if you have the right software and all the other elements. And I think that's the good thing, is that you can sit in front of a computer and see what's happening in the system, direct in real time. So if you want to adjust the temperature in this room, you just go into the computer and click, and you rise to 20, 24 degrees, and you see it in real time. And also you also get the log that you can see everything's happening. It's an interesting system. Okay, So this is the basic of the SCADA. Say that you have a heating system, then you have sensors. You can have pumps. You can have motors. You can have actuators, and all these connects to a PLC or RTU. And RTU is actually an I/O unit, and the PLC is more complex. There you can do more programming. On all this data, they feeds back to the main computers or the panel views. It could be an iPad, it could be a phone, or could be whatever. And if something happens, if it gets an alert or a warning, you can send out messages to the people working with it with SMS or whatever you want, because it's more like your imagination. So this is HMI. It's more like that you see, because if you have a house, you can build up everything in the house through this interface. You can see the pipes, you can see the cooling, everything. It's more like how you want to do it. It's very complex. So if we go to how we test the sprinkler system today, that's a really tough question, because we see in our region that the test is done, but not as it should. Because if you follow the regulations, you should do the weekly, monthly, or quarterly. But in some cases, you don't see reports of doing it, or they go out and say that they're doing it, but you're not doing it. And then the inspection comes and says, yeah, this doesn't work. So from my point of view, or our point of view, I think SCADA can be an excellent tool to see that the flow switches are tested, the devices have been tested, the valves have been opened and closed, so they see that it works, everything. I use the addressable system as a reference, so you don't, so you just know it, so we know what you're talking about. So here you see, actually you see the zone check system here. The zone check unit, you have the gem on the head, you have the pump post monitoring, all connects to the IMMs, and go back to the controller. So in this case, the controller feeds the data to the PLC or the I/O units, and then it goes back to the computers or the control panels, and then you can see what's happening. This is the basic that we can do today. So that's project I have today in the software is actually we can only read it. We cannot, no actions can be done in the system as it looks now. That's more like in the next generation we probably can do what I'm coming to, but you can see you can follow the actions happening in the system. You can see the fire, you can see the closed valve. If the loop failed, activate the flow switch, pump failure, you can see it, but you cannot do anything, but you can only monitoring it. As you see here in the picture, you have the SCADA to the right there. So this is the basic that we can do now. So if we go to the next generation, as I know that where I live in the south, where the hospital is, you have 4 or 5 major hospitals. And with SCADA, they want to connect all the hospital to one controller, so they can follow all the actions in this kind of in these hospitals. And this is their main goal with using SCADA in the south region. And I think it's in Sweden for the moment we have at least 10 big hospitals coming up, and we're talking big hospitals. So that's the next steps. And if one region do this, the rest will follow. So then we come to what we can do if we go to the next step. Then you can do whatever you want. In particular, you can control it, as I said. You can check. You can close it. You can do all the testing. You can monitoring everything, and whenever you want, and you always get the log, so you can follow what's happening. And I think the most important thing is that you follow the codes, you follow the regulations with the testing, and this is an excellent way to follow the codes, I think. So, but this is talking probably 2 years ahead, 2-3 years ahead before we can do that. But you can, for the moment, you can follow the system, what it's doing, but you cannot do some actions. That's me. I was really happy. And that's Batman over there. So, thank you for that. And the question is here. Is the SCADA system a threat or opportunity for the sprinkler industry? I know the answer.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.